So welcome everyone. Today we will be learning about classification of additive manufacturing process. In general we all know 3D printing, but very less have heard about additive manufacturing. And in general the real term, the scientific term of 3D printing is additive manufacturing. This 3D printing is generally layman terms. It's more simple and everyone easy to understand, and nobody will understand what is this additive manufacturing. They look like very weird. But if you say 3D printing, they will understand, yeah, yes, that's right. They will get something. But in general, the additive manufacturing is the real scientific term of this whole process. So today we will be looking about the types of process in this additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing itself is a accumulation of all the processes. So we will be getting a quick look on what are the classifications in AM processes. So let's begin. The first is vat polymerization. Vat polymerization, many of us know by the term stereolithography, and this thing has got two subclassification. One is how my laser is putting. If my laser is acting in point wise, only a point, that's one classification. If my laser is acting in a area wise, called layer wise, that's the second classification. And that's how vat polymerization is done. In general, the material used in vat polymerization is a photocurable liquid, that is, whatever polymer you take, by action of some light, or better it be a UV radiation, some light, it turns from liquid to solid. That's how the vat polymerization work. That's the major thing. And second, filament extrusion. If you see that which process has made it, means now people can understand 3D printing. How means even anyone, if they know 3D printing, they have seen this itself, that is FDM, that fused deposit print is generally the common term, but the real term is that filament extrusion. In this, the what are the material used is presently polymer only. Metal and ceramic are still in development, but the polymer is this FDM, that is general term, is the most used printer in this world, because the starting price itself is 5,000. From that, it's very cheap and also very effective. Due to this only, this 3D printing has got a big name in today's market. Means even the household can understand this term due to FDM. That's one classification. And second, sheet lamination. In sheet lamination, you can get from name also, sheet lamination, that is, you take a sheet and you try to laminate, that is, one sheet you take and say put another sheet and one more sheet. So you stack up the sheets, but how my stacking is going on, it depends upon my final object. So depending upon my final object, the stacking goes on. In that way it is done. And one thing, the sheet lamination is the first process of the MS, the first to be developed. The first to be developed is sheet lamination, and the name they given is laminated object modeling. At present, polymer and paper is mainly used in sheet lamination, and this metal and ceramic are still under development. And another one is binder jetting. From the name itself you can say binder jetting, two terms. One is binder. What is binder? It simply binds. Jetting, you, it's like you are spraying it. So what they do means, you got a bed of whatever material you gonna print. On to this material you jet this binder. Now what this binder does is, if you think your metal particles are this red shape, okay, and you got your binder in yellow color, now this binder gets joins to all these metal powders and they form a small cluster. In this way they form a cluster and it forms an object. That's how this binder jetting works. And again there is a sub-classification on basis of my materials, polymer, metal, ceramic. That's how this classified. And next, material jetting. In this, my material itself is jetted out. And you may ask, what's the difference between FDM and this material jetting? Here you see it is like more of an extension to the inkjet printings. We all know inkjet printing, one of the revolution printers, especially in 2D printing. And same technology if you use for 3D printing, that's known as material jetting. It has got very large numbers of nozzles, and the material is printed out. And mind you, this is one thing, in this material jetting we cannot use this metal or ceramics because nozzles is the major factor. So mostly polymers are used in material jetting. And another classification is powder bed fusion. This is also one of the famous, especially for metal. In this classification is based on how my powder is getting heated. If I am using a laser to get my powder to melt it, then we call it as laser based. If I am using an electron beam to get the powder melted, then it's called as electron beam powder bed fusion. That's the general term. And direct energy deposition. This is the most widely used after this powder bed fusion. This is the most widely used in metal additive manufacturing. In this, we need to remember two things, that is how my heat source is there, and second, how my material is getting into the object. On this basis of these two, we get classification. First, let us see my heat. If I am using a laser, then we can keep as laser. And second, if I am using an electron beam to melt or sinter, then it will be electron beam. And third, I may use a laser arc, that is electric arc itself. Then it is arc, especially if it's an arc, then we will call it electric arc. This is the three major, means heat source, three, that is laser, electron beam and arc. Okay. Now how my metal is being getting input? Is my metal is inputting in the form of powder, or my metal is being inputted in the form of wire? On basis of these two and these three, we get the classification. So the major possible classifications are that laser powder, laser wire, again electron beam wire, electron arc wire. In this way it is classified. And this WAM, electric arc wire, it's mostly widely used for metal 3D printing also. And other processes, why we are not adding this thing? Because it's like mixture of both conventional manufacturing and this additive manufacturing, because there will be machining also in between. So these are classified as other process. In this we got two mainly, one is ultrasonic welding and friction deposition. That's how we classify the additive manufacturing process. And in next video we will be seeing more detail about this process. We will be going to more deep about how this process works and what are the greatness about this. Thank you so much for watching the video.